Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video I'm going to be playing Auspex. It's a solo journaling RPG that involves tarot cards. Now I don't really read tarot cards that much, so I've got a tarot book to help with interpretations. So, how does the game work? Once I've built my world, I'll get to this later, I pull 7 tarot cards from the major arcana. Each of these cards represents a visitor for each day of the week. For each card I pull, I look it up from a list. For example, if I were to pull the Hangman, this card represents a criminal. I then draw 7 cards from the minor arcana deck, and these form a question for the visitors. I also look up these cards to see which questions are associated with them. So let's say I pick the 6 of Pentacles. It reads, I feel I have been blessed in this life. I live in abundance, and I wish to share it with those without. How may I help others with what I have? Who is the most needing of my help? Now, once a card is pulled, it doesn't re-enter the deck, for now. This keeps the questions and prompts unique for each visitor. Once we have our visitors and their questions written out, we choose a spread. Just before this though, we put the 7 major and minor cards back into the deck. We do this to ensure we have a complete deck for the spread. A spread, for those who don't know, is an arrangement of cards that are turned over and read in a particular order. There are 20 spread examples to choose from, and these are demonstrated in the back of the book. Right, so with all that in mind, we're going to build our world. An example I really like is this one. A sleeping town in Regency-era England. Any day now, a new king will be crowned. I also need to add an addition to this to cause a bit of chaos or conflict. So following on from this example, there's an addition. On the morning of the coronation, the uncrowned king is slain. There is no heir to the throne, and so a new search for a new ruler must begin. Each visitor, their question, and the spread I divine for them will alter this world in some way. So once I've completed the journaling for the first visitor's spread, I answer a question associated with each day. So for instance, on day 1, the question reads, your visitor leaves. Your words rattle about their head and spurs them into action. What of their actions has unintended consequences? Will they live to see it? Also, to add some more chaos to divining, I can also lie during these readings, depending on how I want to influence or shape the world. Right, so to begin the game, I'm first going to pull my 7 visitors. These are all from the major arcana deck, so I'm just going to move my book and tarot book out of the way. So let's see who we get. So first up, the Hanged Man. Second, the Hermit. Third, the Lovers. Fourth, the Heirophant. Fifth, the Emperor. Sixth, Judgement. And last but not least, the Sun. So these are our 7 visitors. So now we're going to pull from the minor arcana deck to see which questions are going to be associated with each card. So for the Hanged Man, we have the 10 of Pentacles. For the Hermit, we have the 4 of Stakes, if I interpreted my Roman numerals correctly there. For the Lovers, we have the 3 of Pentacles. For the Hierophant, we have the Page of Chalices. For the Emperor, we have the Ace of Scythes. And for Judgment, we have the Page of Scythes. And for the Sun, we have the Knight of Scythes. I think I probably didn't shuffle the best there, but it's fine, we'll work what we have. So yeah, this is our now sort of first sort of step in the game. We've got our 7 visitors and their 7 questions. So I'm going to take a deep dive into these now and go through the book and explain more about who the visitors are and what the questions mean. So if we begin with the Hanged Man, I'll see what it says in Auspex. So the Hanged Man is a criminal, so I'll make a note of that. So now let's look up the question. So the question was the 10 of Pentacles. Here we go. It reads, I am betrothed, and the love of my life is wealthy at that. But I fear my lived life of poverty will not ingratiate me to my new kin. You must quickly help me. How do I fool them into believing I am of means? How do I hide my past lived squalor? Oh, that's very apt actually for a criminal. Okay, so I'm going to make a quick note of this. So according to Auspex, now we've got our question, we need to dedicate a page to our visitor and the accompanying question. So I'm just going to write this down now, or type it, which I think might be clearer. So next up is the Hermit and the 4 of stakes for day 2. So if you look up the Hermit, we can see they are a pilgrim. So let's have a look at their question. So that's the 4 of stakes. And I believe, because I'm using Buffy tarot cards here, the 4 of stakes will be the 4 of wands. So just look this up in Auspex. I am back home after visiting many years abroad. My family and life here has grown so vibrant in my absence. I've decided to come home, but what for my life abroad should I leave behind? So for day 3, we are visited by the Lovers, and the associated question is the Pentacles. So if we look up the Lovers, so the Lovers are a pair of young lovers. I'm going to quickly make a note of this. And the accompanying question is the 3 of Pentacles. I am an apprentice to a great master, whose skills I value, but I feel under his tutelage I will stagnant and will never grow to surpass him. Where can I seek newfound knowledge? Is it time for me to strike out on my own? On the 4th day, we have the Heirophant and the Page of Chalices. They're a spiritual leader. So with the Ace of Chalices, or Ace of Cups, it reads, I am lovesick and forlorn, I am smitten, and they do not even know I exist. No, we have not spoken, but I know that we are soulmates meant to be. Tell me, how do I catch their eye? How do I get them to fall for me? So our 5th visitor is the Emperor, and their question is associated with the Ace of Scythes. So the Emperor is a man of wealth. And the Ace of Scythes is the Ace of Daggers, I believe. Sorry, not daggers, swords. Okay, so the Ace of Swords reads, I feel I am on the edge of a breakthrough. Like my ideas will change the world. How do I find this knowledge within myself? So our 6th visitor is Judgement, and the question is the Page of Scythes. So if we have a look at Judgement, if I can find it. Oh, here. Oh, Judgement is a warlord. And let's look up the Page of Scythes, which corresponds to the Page of Swords. So that is, it's this side. I have acted hastily in attempts to preempt gossip and the turning tides of opinion. I have sent out missives to half the town to assert my good name. I cannot face the world and the glares and glances of others. I haven't spoken to anyone in a week since sending it. Is my good name redeemed, or must I flee this city in the cloak of night and start a new life across the sea? Last but not least, we have the Sun and the Knight of Scythes. So if we look up the Sun, they are a beaming youth. So if we look up the Knight of Scythes or Swords, they are... they're here. I have just arrived in this new land, and so much is new and strange to me. But yet, I also see that this land is something that even the ground yearns to reach out and meet my blessed feet. How do I rule this beautiful land? What must I do for you all to see me as your hero? Okay, so that's our selection of visitors and questions for the 7 days. Now, what I do now is I actually put all these cards back into the deck and reshuffle them. Then we go on to the spreads. Now, like the pulling of the visitors and the question cards, once I pull the cards from the spread, they stay out of the deck. This ensures that each spread is unique to each visitor. So I'm just going to quickly shuffle the deck now. That's probably a very bad shuffling technique, but I just don't want to bend the cards that much. Okay, so there are a range of spreads to choose from, and these are shown at the back of the book. Okay, so if you go back to Visitor 1, they are a criminal, And what they want to know is that will they be able to impress their future in-laws and betrothed, because they're very self-conscious that they are poor and they don't want to come off badly. So the spread I'm thinking of going for is, do you know what? I think I might go for the rain and the flood. So if I just turn to that page now. So I've chosen the rain and flood because the rain symbolises what is coming. So this person's future life with their betrothed. And the flood is how it drowns them. So I'm thinking if they're going to be dishonest and want to conceal some of their life from their future in-laws, I think that could leave them in a bad way. So let's draw 2 cards and see what we get. So if we reveal the first card, this is the rain. Oh, that's the magician. And if we reveal the second card, we have the Knight of Scythes. Okay, so I'm going to look up the magician in my tarot book to see what it says. So the magician stands next to a table upon which lie all the implements of his trade. These represent the 4 tarot suits and the 4 elements. Wand in hand, the magician is about to use his powers to command his will. On his head, his hat is almost like the infinity symbol, explicitly shown in some decks, known as a cosmic lemniscate. The cosmic lemniscate, which represents the eternal and immortal force of energy. At this stage of his journey, the Fool realises that he has all the resources he needs to gain mastery over the material world of opposites and duality. He has become the magician, an authority figure who has the power to do good. Creativity and resourcefulness are needed to overcome obstacles. Oh, that's kind of useful, actually. So maybe this person, even though they believe they are poor, they actually have more than what they think they have. Okay, I've now got to tie this back to the setting, which is Regency era England, and the heir to the throne has just been killed, I believe. So who is this person in relation to that? So they are a criminal. Maybe they killed the heir. Who knows? Okay, so let's just say this person killed the heir to the throne. They're also betrothed. And they are worried about what their in-laws will think of them. Okay. So maybe they were recruited to kill the king because they were paid very well and they wanted to impress their new family. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Right, let's go to the Knight of Scythes and see what that says. So the Knight of Swords is a brave warrior who fights for the causes he believes in and is charged to protect. The Knight challenges injustice wherever he sees it and shows courage against all odds. He is willing to make sacrifices to uphold his principles and fights for justice, fairness and reform. Change will be brought about. The card may represent a young man or woman who displays these qualities or could suggest the time is right for the querent to personally develop such characteristics. Okay, so this card signifies change is coming and this person has to fight for that change to be upheld. Okay, so they are a brave warrior. And there's an injustice. Let's see. Okay, let me write something down and see what I come up with. Okay, so even though I meant to deliver this reading to him, I've written it like I'm explaining it to myself to set the scene a bit. A criminal was paid by an unknown organisation to kill the heir to the throne. They took the job because they're about to marry a person who is much wealthier than them. They still feel they're not rich enough to be accepted. However, change is coming. Perhaps the organisation that paid them to assassinate the heir will reward them when their preferred ruler is on the throne. So if I was to relay this to the person coming to me for a reading, I would say, even though you still think you're not wealthy enough, you must realise that you actually are. And perhaps you don't need to keep involving yourself in these organisations to get more money. Perhaps your time will come when the preferred ruler has taken power. So yes, what I'm saying is they will be rewarded when this new pretender is on the throne. Okay, so the second part of this is that I have to answer a question. So at the first day, the criminal, our visitor, leaves. Their words rattle about their head and this spurs them into action. What of their actions has unintended consequences? Will they live to see it? So for this, I've written, when the criminal leaves, they go on to tell the organisation they no longer want to carry out their dark deeds. Instead, they are retiring from that line of work as they are about to be married. They go on to lead a happy life, but the organisation sees them as a threat or be keeping a close eye on them. Okay, so next up we have the Pilgrim. And the prompt is, I am back home visiting after many years abroad. My family and life here has grown so vibrant in my absence. I've decided to come home, but what from my life abroad should I leave behind? So for this spread, I think I'm going to choose the bread and butter, which is 2 cards. So the first card is about necessity, what is needed, and the second is indulgence, what is wanted. And I feel that fits quite well with what this person is asking because, yeah, they're wanting to know basically what is necessary and what can they leave behind. So let's draw 2 cards and see what they reveal. Okay, so the first card is the Sun. And the second card is the 5 of Pentacles. So let's look up the Sun and see what that card is about. So the sun, shown shining on twin boys, is symbolic of life in full bloom. The fool has passed through his dark night and the way ahead is clear again. He knows where he is going and what he wants to achieve, and he meets with success in all his endeavours, indicating energy, joy, optimism and worldly success. This card suggests that it is the perfect moment to embrace opportunities and live life to the full. When this card appears in a spread, it promises good health, happiness and perhaps even the birth of a baby. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so let's look up the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles indicates that lasting success and material satisfaction have been achieved. You have earned the right to relax and enjoy what has been accumulated through your efforts. The card suggests that you've also gained an inner sense of security. In addition to your personal wealth, a family inheritance may ensure that you live in comfort for a very long time. Enjoying the company of your family and loved ones and sharing your material fortune with them brings the greatest pleasure now. The card indicates a satisfying home life. Ah, excellent. Okay. So, who is the pilgrim in our story? So, our pilgrim has spent many years abroad. Why do you think they were abroad? Okay. Perhaps they left their home country to find a special religious relic. They've since come back blessed, or they feel reconnected to their faith, let's say, and they have been pondering how much wealth they have perhaps, and kind of like, is it time to downsize or redistribute some of that wealth? Now, we did pull the Sun card, which indicates, something good is on the horizon, like a time of rebirth, perhaps a child, and also the 10 of Pentacles, which was another positive card. So I think with the pilgrim, perhaps they actually aren't related to what's happening to the king at all. They've just returned home to quite a sort of disrupted state, and perhaps they're going to start preaching, try and encourage others to, be more minimalistic and, give up their wealth. So, yeah, I think I'm going to write something along those lines. And what should they leave behind? Maybe it could be quite metaphorical. Maybe they could leave something of themselves behind. So maybe like a character flaw or something. So maybe they should, I don't know. Maybe they should leave behind their pride. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, So, okay, so let's learn about a little bit more about our pilgrim. So the pilgrim is a devout monk who travelled overseas to visit a holy relic. They have since returned to a country in turmoil. Upon their return, this upheaval of power has prompted them to reflect about their time away, and they have come to realise they are very happy with their lot. They begin to preach to others to follow their same philosophy. Okay, so our leaving question is, your visitor leaves, thoughts of their place in the world swirling about them, about how they see the world and how it should be known. How will they chronicle the shift in the times? How will these chronicles be received? The monk will chronicle how his philosophy has helped others be more benevolent. However, nobility classes feel threatened by this new movement. Some are even petitioning for whoever is chosen to be the next king or queen to investigate the teachings of the pilgrim. Oh, that's pretty sinister, actually. I don't like that one, but I think it fits in with the story well. So far we have a criminal who assassinated the heir, but has told this shady organisation, or let's just say a rival nobility faction, that they're out as they're getting married. But however, this shady faction always sees him as a threat because it's someone to talk, and they will be keeping a close eye on him. And also our pilgrim is shaking things up, whether or not this is disrupting this sinister nobility family in terms of, spreading the word of being benevolent and generous. He is also painting a target on his back. So yeah, we've got two people whose lives are sort of intertwined, but not. And yeah, they're both making waves. So we'll see. So we're on to day 3 now. So next up we have our pair of young lovers. So let's just say one of our young lovers is asking, I'm an apprentice to a great master whose skills I value, but I feel under his tutelage I will stagnate and never grow to surpass him. Where can I seek newfound knowledge? Is it time for me to strike out on my own? So let's just say they are a lord and lady, and it's a lord that's asked this question. However, the lady is still quite intelligent in and of her own right, and is very educated and will go along with what the lord says, or influence the lord as well. So let's arrange another spread and see what the cards have to say. So visitor 3 isn't a single visitor, but a pair of young lovers. So the spread I think I'm going to choose for them is the Veil, which is 3 cards. So card 1 is the Promise, card 2 is the Ring, and card 3 is the Kiss. So the first card is a want for the future, the second is a binding, and the third is a moment of passion. Right, so let's pull these 3 cards and see what they say. So the first is Strength. The card of Strength depicts a woman holding open or forcing closed the jaws of a lion. Apparently without fear or danger, the lion represents our primal urges, the wild and ravenous beast within, yet the woman has succeeded in taming them. Like the magician, she has an infinity symbol, or cosmic lemniscate, above her head, in the shape of her headwear. Oh, I think that's a typo in these. In the shape of her headwear, indicating that she has achieved a new level of consciousness and understanding. The fool is gaining mastery over the primal forces that have governed him, and his conscious ego is taking control. The card suggests that struggles may be ahead, but you have the courage and confidence to overcome any danger or challenge. Okay, so that's good. That's very promising. So yeah, it could be, there are challenges ahead of you, but you will know how to overcome them. Right, so our next card is the 2 of Stakes, which is the 2 of Wands. So the 2 of Wands indicates that a new goal or project is on the horizon. It has taken courage, care, and determination to formulate your plan. So now you can stand back and allow it to unfold and grow. Leaving the matter alone to allow the magic to work can lead to a period of restlessness. Patience and trust in the future are required. At this time, you should make plans for the next stage and work out what to do once your creative endeavours have taken root and started to grow. Negotiations with others may be required. Travel may be indicated for you. We have a lord and lady in waiting, and this lord served the king. But I'm thinking perhaps he was working also with this shady organisation, and now they've sort of helped the criminal infiltrate, say, not the king, rather, the heir, who was, let's just say, the king's son. It's a prince, right? They killed, this person helped the criminal infiltrate, the heir's residence to kill them. And yeah, now they're pretty much, reaping the rewards of that now. This lord is about to enjoy the fruits of his labour, let's say, in concocting this dastardly scheme of getting the heir assassinated. And who knows, maybe even the king. This is why perhaps, the new heir had to be crowned, or the prince had to be crowned. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So let's look at the Queen of Scythes. So the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords has a strong mind and keen intelligence. With a cool exterior, she may sometimes seem icy or aloof, but she is always kind and fair towards her subjects. The Queen will argue her opinions with a clear head and keen insight. She is not afraid to fight for her principles if her duties require it. When this card is selected, it may represent a female who displays these qualities, or may indicate the time is right for these characteristics to be developed by the querent. Okay, so actually, this has made me think, maybe the old king and the prince were quite tyrannical. And maybe, even though this organisation is still a bit shady because they shouldn't, try to overthrow the king, perhaps they had a good reason to, or is it kind of, actually, no, I've painted them to be quite bad. So perhaps it's almost like swapping one evil for another. People think they are going to replace this tyrannical monarchy with a more stable version, a more merciful version, but actually they're secretly just as bad. So let's say the Queen of Swords is the lady. She's very intelligent. She worked with her husband to help the assassin enter the prince's quarters. And yeah, maybe she thought she was being fair, helping overthrow this cruel regime. But actually, they've pretty much potentially made it worse. So yeah, I'm an apprentice to a great master whose skills I value, but I feel under his tutelage I will stagnate and never grow to surpass him. Where can I seek newfound knowledge? Is it time for me to strike out on my own? So yeah, this was covered by the want to overthrow the king. Great master, I mean, that does sound quite, what's the word? Praising of the king. But I think this person has become an astute politician, let's say, in their own right. And they feel the new monarchy will help them build up that knowledge of, running a country and statesmanship. So I suppose they're kind of striking out on their own in that way. So yeah, the final question is, your visitor leaves oblivious to actions they take from now and will have an impact and influence many. How will their actions get recounted in history? Will history be kind to them? Oh, this is interesting. Will history be kind to them? So what I think I'm going to write is, history will not be kind to the lovers. The lord and lady thought the country needed a change of power, perhaps a more merciful and fair king. However, they were duped. History will look back on them fairly. However, they made the wrong decision. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it for today and maybe finish this game off later, as I've been recording for quite a while now. So yeah, so we're up to our third visitor. We have 4 left. I'll keep the tarot cards as is so I can just pick up where I left off. But yeah, that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed it. I mean, I'm actually really liking this, and I feel as though I'm developing a campaign or adventure storyline. So yeah, this is very, very good. I mean, it is quite time consuming. However, it really gets you thinking, and yeah, it's kind of a ready-made story as you go along. It's taken so many twists and turns. So when I began with the criminal, I thought, okay, they're just, it's just a shady organisation trying to usurp a king. But as we get down to lovers, we realise, actually, was this king good to begin with? Was his son a cruel prince? And they both, and they may not have been right to rule. But, having that question about, will history look back on the people that conspired against the king fairly? It's like, will they? Is this organisation that created the plan to get rid of the king. You know, are they good? So yeah, we may find more of this out as I play the game more. And yes, I'm quite excited. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. And so yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.